Lesson 57, finding least common multiple. First off, what do they mean by finding the least common multiple? The least common multiple is a number that's evenly divisible by each of the numbers in a set of numbers. So here, how do you find it? You write each number as a product of prime factors. So remember our work with prime numbers. And then every factor of the given numbers as a factor of the least common multiple. Then use each factor the greatest number of times it is a factor of any of the numbers or expressions. So in this example here that's done for you, it says find the least common multiple of 24 and 36. So they broke down 24 with prime numbers, and you have 2, 2, 2, and 3. And then they broke down 36 as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. And then you look at see what factors are used. You have to use every factor, but you use the amount that's used the most. So if I look at, I have two factors. I have 2 and 3 being used. So I have 2. The most times it's being used is 3 because this one has 3 2's. This one only has 2. So I have to use the one with 3. That's why I put 3 2's down here. And then I have 3. The most that 3 is being used is 2 times. So I put both of those down here. And then I just multiply my numbers. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 3 times 3 is 9. 8 times 9 would give you 72. So 72 would be the least common multiple of 24 and 36. And just to give you another tip, when you have your two numbers, 24 and 36, it cannot be smaller than the largest number. Now with factors, remember, those are numbers that you multiplied to get these two numbers. So we are doing something different with multiples. So let's take a look at an example. Find the least common multiple of 11, 12, and 18. So 11, let's write the prime numbers. We got 1, we got 11. For 12, we got 2 times 2, that's 4, times 3, that's 12. And then we got 18. 2 times 3 times 3. Anytime we have a 1, we don't need to worry about the 1, so I'm not going to put that down as a factor. But I have a 2 as a factor, I have a 3 as a factor, and I have 11 as a factor. So what's the most amount of 2's being used? Well, 12's got 2 of them, so I'm going to add another 2 here. And then the most number of 3's, I got 2 3's here for number 18. So I'm going to erase this 11 here. 2 3's, and then I got 1 11. So if I multiply all those numbers together, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, so 4 times 9 is 36. 36 times 11 would give us 396. So 396 is the smallest number that's in common with 11, 12, and 18. The next one, find the least common multiple of 35 and 49. Again, let's break down 35 with prime numbers. That's 5 times 7. And 49, that's 7 times 7. So I have 5's, only being used once, and I have 7's, which the most times it's being used is twice. So I multiply those together, so 5 times 49 gives us 245. So the least common multiple of 35 and 49 are 245. Now there is another method. It just takes a lot longer to doing. You can count by 11's, and then count by 12's, and then count by 18's, and then find out which number is the smallest in common with all of them. But the problem with that is you never know how far you need to count because you don't know when you're going to get the common factor or the common multiple. That's why breaking them down into primes and using this method makes it a lot easier and quicker. Next example, find the least common multiple of 7, 8, and 13. So 7, we just have 7 and 1. We got 8, That's 2 times 2 times 2. And then 13, that's just 13 and 1. So the most factors I have is 2. It's used 3 times, so I have 3 2's in my answer. I have 1 7 and I have 1 13. So if I multiply those together, I got 8 times 7 times 13, which gives us 728. So the least common multiple of those three numbers is 728. Next one, we got 16. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then 42, that's 2 times 3 times 7. So I got 2's. The most 2's I have is 4. 3's, the most 3's I have is 1. And I got 1 7. So we got 16 times 3 times 7 gives us an answer of 336. Finding the least common multiple, this time we have variables. When we were finding the greatest common factor and we had variables, we always went with the variable that has the smallest exponent. For the least common multiple, it has to be the one with the largest exponent. So let's do this one. We got 10. We'll break down 10. That would be 2 times 5. And then we got a squared, got c to the 4th. And then 15, let's break that down. 3 times 5, that's a to the 3rd and c to the 3rd. So I can write each one as a factor the greatest amount of times. So I have 1, 2, I have 1, 3, and 5 is being used once in each of them, so it's just being used once. And then the most number of a's is a cubed. The most number of c's, letter c's, is c to the 4th. So if I multiply all those together, I get 6 times 5, which is 30, a to the 3rd, c to the 4th. This would be our least common multiple. Find the least common multiple of these expressions. So we got 6, which would be 2 times 3 times x squared times y cubed. And we got 9, which is 3 times 3 times x to the 4th times y to the 4th. The most 2's I have is 1. The most 3's is 2. The most x's is x to the 4th. The most y's is y to the 4th. So now we have 9 times 2, which is 18, x to the 4th, y to the 4th. That would be our least common multiple. Next one, find the least common multiple of these. So we got 6, which is 2 times 3 times c squared times d to the 7th. And then 15 would be 3 times 5 times c to the 5th times d. So the most factors I'm using, 2 is used once, 3 is being used once, 5 is being used once. The most c's, c to the 5th. The most d's, d to the 7th. So now I have 6 times 5, which is 30, c to the 5th, d to the 7th would be our least common multiple. Example 3 is finding the least common multiple of 3 monomials. So we have 3 terms. You're just doing everything the same way. So we got 6, which is 2 times 3 times p squared times x cubed. 2 is just 2 times m squared times s squared. Then 8, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times m cubed times p. Again, we got to use all the factors the greatest amount of times, so I got a 2. 2 is being used 3 times, so I have to have 3 2's in my answer. I got a 3 being used once. I got a p being used twice. I got an x used 3 times. I have an m 2 times, and I have an S 2 times. So if I put them all together, that gives me 8 times 3, which is 24, p squared, x cubed, m squared, s squared. Next one, these three, we got 8, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times a squared times b cubed. Got 12, which is 2 times 2 times 3 times b squared times c. We have 18, which is 2 times 3 times 3 times a cubed times b times c cubed. The most 2's being used is 3, so 2 times 2 times 2. The most 3's is 2, so 3 times 3. The most a's is a cubed times b. The most b's is b cubed. The most c's is c cubed. So 8 times 9 is 72. A cubed, b cubed, c cubed. That would be our least common multiple. And the last one on this side, we got 4 is 2 times 2 times k to the 4th, p to the 3rd, n to the 3rd. We got 5, which is just 5, k squared, p cubed. Then we got 20, which is 2 times 2 times 5 times n to the 4th, k to the 3rd. Having used 2 2 times, so 2 is in my answer twice. I have no 3's, but I have 1 5. And then it would be k to the 4th, p to the 3rd, n to the 3rd. Actually, not n to the 3rd, it would be n to the 4th because this last one has 4, so n to the 4th. So that means we got 20, k to the 4th, p to the 3rd, n to the 4th. That would be your least common multiple. A couple other ones. Here now we have binomials. So we have 3x plus 1 and 2x plus 9. First step is just to factor each binomial. And in this case, the first one, I can't factor any of them because they are factored down. So that means both of them would be our least common multiple. So 3x plus 1 and 2x plus 9. That would be our least common multiple. Next one, we can take us, this should be an actual x right here. So we could take a 7x out. If I take a 7x out, that leaves me with x plus 3. And this one, I can take a 6. That leaves me with x plus 3. So my factors here, I can break down this 6. This would be 2 times 3. Because again, you break it down into prime numbers. So I have a 2, I got a 3, I got an x on the outside. And then the common factor that's in common with both would be x plus 3. And that's being used once. So if I put that all together, that gives me 6x, I forgot the 7 times 7. This would be 42 x times x plus 3. So we just take all of our factors used once, multiply it, and then times our binomial. Next one, find the least common multiple of these two. So factor out the biggest number I can take out of 60 and 24 would be 6. And I can take an x out as well. 60x cubed divided by 6x gives us 10x squared. Actually, I could take a 12 out. I can take a 12 out, so 12x, 60 divided by 12 would give us 5. 24 divided by 12 gives you 2. The other one, I can take out a 9. And I can take 2 x's out, so x squared. That leaves you with 5x squared plus 2. Now if I write my prime numbers, this will be 2 times 2 times 3 times x times 5x squared plus 2. This would be 3 times 3 times x squared times 5x squared plus 2. So the most 2's being used is twice, the most 3's is twice, the most x's is x squared, and then I have 5x squared plus 2. So this will give us an answer of 4 times 9 is 36, x squared, 5x squared plus 2. So this would be our least common multiple. And the last one here, we got 2m minus 3 and 5m plus 7. They already factored, so my answer is 2m minus 3 times 5m plus 7. Another one here, I can take a 5p out. That leaves me with 3p minus 1. I can take an 8 out. That leaves me with 3p minus 1. This is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3p minus 1. The top one is already in lowest terms, that's already with prime numbers. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. And I got 1p. And then in parentheses, I got 3p minus 1. The last one here, you can take a 15 out. 15 out, that gives me 3h squared plus 2. I can take 11h squared out. That leaves me with 3h squared plus 2. I can break down the 15, so that's 3 times 5 times 3h squared plus 2. The bottom was already in prime numbers, so now I multiply it, so I have 15 times the h squared is 15h squared. Actually not 15, 15 times 11. 15 times 11 gives us 165h squared. And then in parentheses we have 3h squared plus 2. That would be our least common multiple. More examples. Top one already factored, so that one is 3x plus 5 times 2x minus 7. So those are pretty easy. You can determine if they're factored already by just looking at the coefficients and the variables involved with it. Next one, I can take a 3c out. That leaves me with 5c minus 1. Next one, I can take a 7 out. That leaves me with 5c minus 1. So now I have 3 times 7, which is 21c times 5c minus 1. And the last one, I can take an 8f squared out. That leaves me with f cubed minus 3. Next one, I can take an 18 out. We can take 3 f's out. That leaves me with an f. Actually, it leaves me with 1 minus 54 divided by 18 is 3, and then f. So now here, this is 2 times 2 times 2 times f squared. This one would be 2 times 3 times 3 times f cubed. And then I have two different binomials. Those have to be in my answer. The most 2's I have is 3. So 2 times 2 times 2. The most 3's is 2. So 3 times 3. The most f's is f cubed. And then I have this piece and this piece. So my final answer is 8 times 9 is 72. So 72 f cubed times f cubed minus 3 times 1 minus 3f. So that one was a little bit different because we have two sets of parentheses or two sets of binomials. Now let's look at some application. Math test is given every 9 days. A history test is given every 14 days. A science test is given every 18 days. How many days into the school year will all three tests be given on the same day? So I'm just going to be looking at 9, 18, and 14. Find the least common multiple of those days. So this is 3 times 3. 14 is 7 times 2. And 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. The most 2's being used is 1. The most 3's is used twice. The most 7's is 1. So I got 6 times 21. 6 times 21 give us 126. So on the 126th day of the school year, you'll have all three of those tests on the same day. And our last one, every 24th backpack produced has a green stripe. Every 60th backpack produced has a big yellow dot. Every 36th backpack produced has a blue diamond. How many backpacks have been produced when a backpack has a green stripe, big yellow dot, and a blue diamond? Again, I just need to find the prime or the least common multiple of 24, 60, and 36. So 24 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. 60 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. And 36 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. The most 2's being used is 3 2's. The most 3's is 2. And the most 5's is 1. So we got 8 times 9 times 5 to give us 360. So 360 backpacks have been made before you get one that has green stripe, big yellow dots, and a blue diamond. So that is our lesson today on finding the least common multiple.